So for the skull snowflakes, we're going to be using well, you can use any color you would like to. You can use scrap amount or start from a new ball. It's okay. It doesn't take much for each one of these. So I'm going to be starting with a partial ball of thread. I should be able to get all the ones I need and to show you out of this one ball, plus 2 extras if I need to. This is Red Heart, one of my favorite brands to use, and it's size 10, just cotton thread. You can get it basically almost anywhere. And then, let's see, I'm going to be using size 7 vintage hook. So, besides that, we're going to be using a needle because these are going to be relatively small, and you will have to use a needle. I'm not saying multiple times, maybe just once or twice for tails, and then a handy dandy pair of scissors, okay? So, let's get started. I haven't made these in a while, so I will be fresh eyes with you for this pattern. We're going to be starting with a slip knot. There's no magic circle because we're making the skull first, and then we're going around the skull. So you have to start with a slip knot. We're going to chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If you wanted to use size 20 thread, you can make these a little smaller and a little more delicate. Just size your hook down appropriately. Okay. And if you wanted to make earrings out of these, once again, size 20 thread, or you can go thinner and just use the hook appropriately that goes with it. But for this purpose, we're going to use size 10 because that's what my client wants. I think she's going to put these on clay. Roll them into clay and make like little platters or coasters or something. So I can't wait to see those when she gets those done. So we chain 10, and then we're going to half double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Mark it with our thumb, count it again, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's where we put our half double crochet. I'm trying to keep my stitches really nice and tight. So now we are going to half double crochet in each one of the remaining 6 stitches. One, 2 crochets here. I usually crochet with background noise, whether it's ambiance music, or I happen to like the ones that sound like fall or the woods or something natural with the little hooting owls or leaves falling. So, okay, just to recap this real quick. We chained 10 and we put a HDC in the 4th chain from the hook, and then we put HDCs in the next 6. So that's going to give us a total of 7 HDCs and the turning stitch right here, the turning chain right here, okay? So now we are going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. We're going to turn our piece to the other side, and we are going to put a double crochet in that same stitch as the turning. Now we're going to chain 1. We're going to skip the next stitch and we'll put a double crochet in the next one. If you've ever worked any of my skulls before, you will recognize what we are doing here. We're making the teeth. We're going to chain 1. We're going to skip the next stitch and put a double crochet in the next one. I'm going to chain 1. We're going to skip this next stitch, and right where the top of that beginning chain right there where we did our turning, we're going to put a DC tog in that stitch. If you're not familiar with a DC tog, it's kind of like 2 double crochet cluster stitch. It's just combining 2 double crochets into 1 stitch. So let me show you how that goes. We're going to put our hook, we're going to yarn over and act like we're doing our double crochet. We're going to put our hook where in top of that stitch right, or in top of that little chain right there. I'm going to yarn over. We're going to start a double crochet again, put it in that same spot, yarn over, pull through 2 once again, and then we're going to yarn over and pull through the last 3, okay? And that gives us a DC tog. Now we are going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we are going to put a double crochet in that same spot once again, right on top of that last stitch we made right here. Now we're going to make another set of teeth, so now we're going to chain 1. We're going to skip the chain space and put a double crochet right on top of that stitch. I know, I'm going to try to zoom in without it being too blurred or weird looking. Now we're going to chain 1 again, skip the chain space, put a DC in that next stitch there, chain 1. We're going to put a DC tog in that, we're going to skip the chain, put a DC tog right in top of that first stitch there. So now we have our 2 sets of teeth. Let me move my pattern real quick here. Now it's going to get a little on the trickier side, so it's going to be a little tricky on the fingers, so flex your fingers, exercise, stretch, 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 stretch. Okay, so we are going to now chain 3, and we are going to turn our piece. We're going to put 2 half double crochets in the 3rd chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, the last chain right there just before the stitch. Put 2 half doubles in there. One, 2. We're going to put a single crochet in the next stitch. And I put single crochet in the chain space, single crochet in the next stitch, chain space, stitch, chain space, put in a single crochet in the next stitch. Now on top of that chain right here, remember we used that chain to turn, we're going to put a double crochet and a triple crochet. And this is going to give us the other side of our cheek, or the other cheekbone. Do a triple, put it in that same spot there if it lets us. Ooh. Okay, so let's recap real quick. Oh, and then after this we're going to chain 1. So I'm going to chain 1 just so it's easier. Gets my hook a little bit further away from you there. So as you can see, we have our chin. We have 1 row of teeth, 2 rows of teeth, and right here we have underneath, it's like our cheekbones. So we chained 3 and then put 2 half double crochets in the 3rd chain from the hook. Then we put a single crochet in each one of the stitches, the next 7 stitches, so 1 and chain spaces, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. And then on top of that last chain right there, which we used to turn, we're going to put a double crochet and a triple crochet. We're going to chain 1 and we're going to turn. We're now going to work on the underside of the eyes and the nose. Now we're going to put a single crochet right in top of that first stitch right there where we turned. That's going to be your triple crochet. So we're going to put a single crochet right on top of that. Now we're going to put a single crochet in each one of the next 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now if you did it right, you're going to be right in the middle here where you're going to have a chain that's stitch right in the middle of your tooth right there, okay? So now we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Come on, baby. And we're going to skip that chain or that stitch right there, and we're going to put a single crochet in each of the next 5 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and our 5th stitch is going to be that little space, that little chain right there that we used for our turning. Okay, so wiggle that in there. If you can't get it in there, just put 2 in that last stitch that you can find, okay? Then we let down here. Okie dokie. So now what we did was we had our single crochet that we did our turning in, and we put a single crochet in each one of the 5 stitches right here. Then we chained 4, we skipped that stitch and single crocheted in each of the next 5. So you should have 5 single crochets on each side right there. I'm going to chain 2. I'm going to scroll down my pattern here because we are now on row 6. Remember, I'm looking at this with fresh eyes just like you. So now we're going to turn it, and we're going to put a half double crochet in that same stitch as we for the turning, okay? So right where our last, in top of our last stitch right there, we're going to put a half double crochet right there, okay? Now we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to put a single crochet in this next stitch here. Chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to skip 4 stitches, and we're going to put 2 half double crochets in this last stitch right here. One and 2. Okay, and that gives us our little eyes. So now we're going to chain 1, and we're going to turn. We're going to put a single crochet right where our turning is, so right in top of the half double crochet. Okay, now there's a hinge stitch there, and then yeah, just don't mind that at all, okay? Don't worry about that. We're going to put 5 single crochets in this chain space, and then 5 single crochets in this chain space. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Put 5 in the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we're going to put a single crochet in the next stitch there. If it happens to be on top of that chain, the beginning chain, no worries, okay? It's all good. So that gives us our brow. So now we're going to chain 1. We are going to skip our turning stitch and skip this stitch, and we're going to put a single crochet in each one of the next 9 stitches. So skip our turning, skip this one right here, go 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, that's going to leave us one little extra stitch right on the end there, so we're just going to ignore that. Okay, so now we're going to chain 1, we're going to turn it, we're going to skip our turning stitch right here and skip the next stitch. Are we going to? Yeah, we're going to skip the next stitch. And so skip this one, and put a single crochet in each of the next 7 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now we're going to chain 1. That's going to give us a stitch just to ignore. Okay. So as you can see, we're making the head right there. Just got to play with your skull a little bit, straighten it all out. Isn't he cute? Okay, so now this is going to be kind of a fun one. Row 10, we are not going to be doing rows anymore. We're kind of going to start going around the piece. Okay, so we are going to still considered a row though for this one, because we are going to chain our 1, we're going to turn it over, we're going to skip this first stitch and single crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. And then it's going to get complicated after that. Well, not really complicated. We just got to use our brain and count. Okay, so now we are going to chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to lay this down and I'm going to kind of point to the areas where we're going to be putting some double crochets. Okay? Let me get out my handy dandy blue knitting needle, even though I don't knit, but it's great for this kind of thing. So we're now going to be working around the piece, and so we're going to be putting our first is our chain 6, which is going to count as our first double crochet and our chain space. And then we're going to be putting a stitch right over here where the brow is, like right in between this bump. You see this little valley right here, and there's a little hole. Yeah, or you might not have a hole. I have a hole. So in between this little valley, we're going to be putting 1 stitch. Then we're going to be putting another stitch right here. You can see another little valley right there, and that's right underneath the eyes. And then we're going to be putting another chain, and we're going to be putting almost like a V-stitch in this bottom chin part right here. So it'll be a V-stitch. Then we're going to be putting a chain, another kind of V-stitch right here, chain, and then putting right on the other side of our, underneath our brow, our eyeball right here, we're going to be putting another stitch, and then we're going to be putting another stitch right above the brow, and then right up here, and putting our final chain. Okay, so that's the game plan. So now you know kind of where things are gonna kind of lie or get put there. So we're going to be chaining 10 after we did our total of 5 stitches right there. Okay, so we are going to put a double crochet in this space right here, right by the brow. Put a double crochet right there. We're now going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to be putting a double crochet right underneath the eye there. We're now going to chain 5 once again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let me make sure I'm doing this right here. Yep. We need a triple crochet right in the edge there. Try not to get it in between that stitch because it'll kind of look a little wonky. So try to get it right into that chain at the bottom there. Do your triple. Now we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to put a half double crochet in that same spot we put our triple crochet. Okay. Now we are going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to skip all of this right here, and just before our slip stitch right there that we used to start, we're going to put another half double crochet. I'm going to go in between my stitch right there so that way it doesn't look too wonky. See, if you just put it in that chain, you're going to get that. But if you put it kind of in between the stitch a little bit, you'll get a neater look. So right there we're putting a half double crochet, and we are going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Move our tail out of the way. I will tuck that in later. And we're going to put a triple crochet right where we put that half double crochet, that same spot. Now we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to put a half double crochet, same as on this side, right where our underneath our eye joins. Going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to put a double crochet right in top where that eyebrow is. That little wiggle made me just adjust my stitch so it was a little tighter. Now we're going to be chaining 5 once again. Oh, sorry, we're going to be chaining 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to be putting a half double crochet right into this first stitch there. I'm going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to be putting a slip stitch just into right the here. So 1, 2, put a little slip stitch right there. I will lay this down in just a second. I'm going to chain 1 just so I can pull my thread out just a little bit so I can chain, which by the way you will need to chain 1 before we start the next round. Okay. After I show you the review, I'm going to quick tuck in my tail here because that tail's going to get in my way and bug me. If you've seen me use my block in another video, I'm going to get out my block here because I have this silicone rubbery type mat and I don't want to ruin it. So I get out my block. If I can't wedge my needle in there, I can carefully put my needle. You don't have to put it right there, you can just set it in the middle. I'm going to carefully put my needle and just push down on it. You can see the needle. And then I'm going to thread it. My thumb cooperates. Okay, and now I'm going to pull that right through. Oh, I guess I got to get my little pliers, my little itty bitty pliers. Pull that through there. And I'm just going to, it's pretty tight, but I'm going to weave it back just a couple little things there. Oh, now it's open, I can do that. So if you're a woodworker, or you know somebody that's a woodworker, or you have somebody work on your house and you have you can get a little scrap of wood, do it. This was actually from a shelf that I made, and you can see my cut here. I'm the woodworker in the family. My son does help me, but I'm the woodworker. I grew up with my dad being able to build stuff, and my mother was actually the daughter of a furniture maker. So I even have some of his tools still. And I have some of the furniture that he made. He made he turned lamps and everything, so I got some nice intricate lamps as well. So my son is more of an electrician. I'm more the woodworker. I'm trying to teach my daughter to do some things, because she has to get those skills somehow too. She's not very interested in it, but she's got to learn some basics. So now that we have that, I was going to review for you. So we did our chains. We turned right here, and then we put a single crochet. We skipped one, and we put a single crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. So that gives us 5 stitches right there. Then we chained 6. We put a DC right on top of the eyebrow there. We chained 5, and we put, I'm going to move my cursor so I can read while I'm showing you so I don't lose my place. We chained 5 and put a double crochet underneath the eye. We then chained 5. We put a triple crochet right at the bottom there, and then we chained 4, put a half double crochet right in that same spot. We then chained 5, and then we skipped these stitches, and right in that corner, right by where we did our slip stitch to start our piece, I put a half double crochet, and then I chained 4, put a triple crochet right in that same spot. Remember, like I said, it was kind of like a V-stitch, kind of like a V-stitch. And then chained 5, skipped all this, of course, and put a double crochet right into, I could be using my thing, put a double crochet underneath the eye right there. Then we chained 5, and we put a double crochet right in top of the eyebrow there. We did another 5, and we put a half double crochet here. Sorry, this was a chain 4. This right here was a chain 4. And then we put a half double crochet in that first stitch. We did a chain 5, and we joined it in the second chain right there of our chain 6. Okay? So that was one of the hardest parts of this. Just finding that placement and doing our little flips. Now it's going to be a little easier because it's a bigger piece to hold. So we chained our 1 right here, and now we're going to put 5 single crochets in this chain space right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we're going to skip this next stitch. In this space right here, we're going to put a single crochet, chain 3, and then 5 single crochets. So we're going to put a single crochet there, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to put 5 single crochets in that same spot right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. In this next chain space, we're going to be working 5. We're going to be doing just the mirror opposite. We're going to be doing 5 single crochets, a chain 3, and a single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Put a single crochet in that same spot. Okay, that gives us 2 little bumps right there. Now we're going to put 5 single crochets in this chain space right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now in this chain space, we're going to be putting 4 single crochets, a chain 3, and 4 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yep, it's going to be tight, but you can get them in there. 1, 2, 3, 4 more single crochets. Now we're going to put 5 single crochets in this chain right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Next one is single crochet, chain 3, and 5 single crochets. So we put our single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, put 5 in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Gotta slide that over just a hair. Now in this chain space right here, we're going to be working the opposite, which is 5 single crochets, a chain 3, and a single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and a single crochet right there to finish off that little section. Now we're going to be putting 5 single crochets in this chain space. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. After this next section, I will lay it down and review with you. So in this space, we're going to be putting 4 single crochets, a chain 3, and 4 single crochets. Remember, we got it to all fit the last time, so we can get it to fit this time. It's 4, 1, 2, 3. Put 4 more in there. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we're going to put a slip stitch into the first single crochet that we made. Okay. Let me pull my thread out here so we can see this a little bit better. Okay. Got it? So in our first section right here, we chained 1, and then we put 5 single crochets right here. I'll get out my handy dandy marker here, my pointer. And then in this section, we did a single crochet, a chain 3, and put 5 single crochets. This chain right here, we did 5 single crochets, a chain 3, and a single crochet. We then put 5 single crochets in this chain space. In this one, we squeezed in 4 single crochets, a chain 3, and 4 more single crochets. Right here, we put 5 single crochets. In this next chain space right here, we did a single crochet, a chain 3, and 5 more single crochets. Right here in this chain space, we put 5 single crochets, a chain 3, and a single crochet. Right here, we put 5 single crochets, and at the top right here, once again, we squeezed in 4 single crochets, a chain 3, and 4 single crochets, joining with a slip stitch into that top, or that first single crochet that we made right in that one. Let me scroll down here. Now, this is going to be the base for all of the skulls, or I mean the snowflakes. Okay, so I'm going to end that video right here, and you will then be able to pick up in the playlist which one you want to finish yours with. Okie dokie. I might even have a surprise for you later. Okay, so I will see you in the next one where we make the pretty part of the snowflake. Okay? I'm just going to attach this to the last video of this set, because during the making of the snowflake patterns, I was talking about how we had our youngest cat had to go to the vet to get spayed. Still, that's Hercules, and still an advocate for spaying and neutering. We just happened to win the bad lotto, and we ended up having to put her to sleep this morning, which is the 24th of October. And I thought about just erasing all of me talking about her, but then that would be like getting rid of her. So this is for all who was paying attention to me talking about the cat. She did pass away. She had swelling of the brain, lack of oxygen, stuff like that. Still an advocate for spaying and neutering. Always spay and neuter your pet. And this could happen to anyone, anytime, or anything, okay? So, sorry to give you bad news about her. Well, I'll let that be it. Please enjoy the snowflakes. I think I'm gonna name the last one Lilith, or even just create a doily just for her, because she was only 6 months old. So, with that, I will say adieu. And thank you. And until next time, like Bob Barker, don't forget to spay and neuter your cat. Even though there are risks, it's very, very rare. Okay? Try to have a good day.